Good evening, Stomers, and welcome to Somers Town Board meeting, our regular meeting, Thursday, February 13th. If you would please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and you can all be seated.
Please.
Every last one of you.
Please.
I want to keep it down, please. Okay, Patty, roll call.
Councilman William G. Falco.
Here?
Councilman Richard G. Clenching.
Present.
Councilman Anthony J. Sirica.
Right here.
Councilman Thomas A. Garrity Jr.
Here.
Supervisor Rick Morrissey.
Present. Thank you, Patty. Our first item, as always, is open public comment. I'll make a motion to open public comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Is there anyone here for public comment?
Is there anyone here?
Seeing no one and hearing no one, I'll make a motion to close public comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay, Patty, department head reports.
I have reports from the Town Clerk, Building Inspector, Zoning Board of Appeals, Plumbing, Bureau of Fire Prevention, Parks and Recreation, Planning and Engineering, Tax Receiver, and Director of Finance.
Thank you for that. Okay, under Town Board, number one, authorize the supervisor to execute the following. The proposal for B&J Plumbing for the installation of a complete water treatment system to protect the internal plumbing and heating equipment in the townhouse per memo dated February 5th from Thomas J. Tuma, Building Inspector. Now, as you can recall, I think I talked about it last month.
Last week.
Yeah, that's right, last week. And basically, we've had problems with our new boiler, and we diagnosed it as too many minerals and in our water. So this treatment system that's being proposed is to furnish material and labor for the sum of $7,955. I don't see that listed there, but
No.
put that on your agendas because I'll add that. So it's $7,955.
This water softener, this is like we would have like I have in my house, but you gotta put the salt in the tank and it goes through. Is that what it is?
No.
Does it say?
Now, this is
Oh, no, it's different.
installation to complete the treatment system with the following to protect internal plumbing and heating.
Right,
15-gallon per minute jumbo sediment filter,
right.
1.5 cubic foot water softener unit.
Yeah,
You
that's
got
it.
that?
Yeah, I have a similar system in my house.
And at one
It is.
point, you have a neutralizer too?
I'm not sure if I do. I have the filter, then I have the water softener, but then I have another big tank, because we have very hard water
Yeah, me too.
where
I
we
think-
are as well.
I think we all do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we put, but it was,
Okay, and then he's gonna repipe the water mains to accommodate the new equipment and waste main to receive backwash line, startup and test.
Yeah, so under
So-
heat and pressure, all that stuff builds up and calcifies the pipes inside
Yeah.
the furnace,
Yeah.
and the thing is...
So this is, you
I
know,
just wonder, we have to add the salt. I'm just wondering where it's gonna be and who's gonna add the salt in and all that stuff.
well,
I
we,
mean, I guess Marty. right?
yeah, we
but-
employ people to do that. So I think it's, this money is well
that Kent?
spent. No,
Oh.
well spent to protect our investment down there.
yeah, because if it's a neutralizer unit too, I think that might be something that you have to pour a liquid into. That I have, you pour some, if it's the same system I have. So you put the salt in one area, and then down there's a little thing that you put a liquid in that you buy, but it might be different, maybe they have something different.
Well, I'm sure we'll get an orientation as to how to
Yeah,
maintain
I'll
and
I'll get
operate.
go look
tour.
at it out just to see.
So,
tour.
Tom, I'll
Take
be
the
sure
tour.
you're present for
Yeah,
that
please.
orientation.
I'm a pro at it.
Okay, good.
Nice.
You
Right.
need a 17-year-old kid to carry around the 50-pound bag of salt.
Here, here.
I was just wondering about that salt.
Yeah, I need another one of those.
Yeah, yours is gone.
Mine's gone.
It's getting annoying.
B, the amendment to increase funding by an additional $3,000 $396 for the Title 3C1, 3C2, and NSIP funding contracts for the nutrition services provided by the town of Somers for the period beginning January 2019 and continuing through December 31st, 2019, dated February 7th from Barbara Tabor. So there must have been some type of an adjustment to our nutrition contract.
Yeah, it says the contract's being amended to increase funding by an additional $3,396.
Yeah, but that's not going forward. That's, she's saying
It's retro.
it's retroactive, right?
I'm trying to look at the. back.
December 31st, 2019.
Amendment
As a
to the
result,
title.
the aggregate to exceed amount of the contract has changed from 40,000 to 43,460. Following is the revised breakdown. Okay, so this is what it would. It went up. We didn't.
Right.
We didn't increase it in 2019. So this is the corrective action.
Yeah, it says the contract is being amended to increase funding by an additional $3396, comprised of $1994 for the 3C1 program and $1402 for the 3C2 program, due to additional funding provided to the county by the New York State Office for the Aging for the three programs. As a result, the aggregate not to exceed the amount of the contract has changed from 40,000 to 43,446. And then they give you a breakdown.
Yep.
That's the kind of contract change you like when you get more money. I'm in favor of that one.
Yeah, okay. Me too. C would be a letter of intent to participate in the Westchester County Hazard Mitigation Plan Update Project. So this is a project that we sign on to, which puts us in a position for federal reimbursement in the case of emergencies. If we have to open a shelter, if we have undue expenses due to any kind of hazards, clearing the roads, what have you. And we have put in for these funds in the past.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we won't have to do it in the future, but if we do, I'm looking for authorization to sign on to that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
definitely. Who does the work to supply all the, it looks like there's requirements that they want to see from us.
Yeah, we do that. We have a hazard mitigation plan, and we send it down to them. And, there are periodically meetings with the county's hazard mitigation plan. I go down to those.
And our department heads are
And-
going to do what they got to do.
Mike
here.
Driscoll comes with me.
Okay.
Okay, and then the proposal from Sterling Appraisals for preparing an appraisal for the assessment purposes of 294 Route 100, part of the former IBM property, Town of Somers, in the amount of $7,250 to be paid from applicant's consulting reimbursement escrow account per Roland Baroni, Town Attorney. So Roland, want to just give the board an overview of what that is?
What we're doing is, knowing that the site of the former IBM corporate offices is at some point going to be retrofitted into a boarding school, it will be necessary to value that property differently than it's valued today. And in order to do that, we have to value this very long-term lease that the owner of the property has entered into with the operators of the school. And that's a specialized activity that we felt it best to have a specialist, a very fine appraiser, do that work for the town. And the applicant has agreed to furnish the lease to him and to also allow us to pay his fee out of the consultant's reimbursable account. So there's no cost to the town, but you'll be able to arrive at a fair and equitable appraisal assessment for this property going forward.
You know this person, obviously.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You actually have used him before. You used him on the very difficult appraisal that had to be done on the Heritage Hills Sewer Works
Oh.
infrastructure.
Right,
when
right.
they- When they
Back a
were
few
filing
years. Right,
tax
right.
certiorari against the town.
And the assessor, our assessor
Oh, absolutely.
knows this, is in favor of this, and,
100%.
yeah, great.
Right, because based on this appraisal, that puts her in a position to put a value and assessment going
Right.
forward.
Yep.
Now, this is on a, so this is appraising a lease, or the property, or?
Well, because it's a
property based
commercial
on lease.
endeavor and it's a landlord-tenant situation, what you end up doing is taking the rental payments and capitalizing them out and then deducting what you think are going to be routine and ordinary expenses from that. And you end up with something called net operating income. And then you multiply that out, and that's how you arrive at the at an assessment.
The letter talked about something like $25 million in leasehold
We shouldn't be
improvements.
talking about
With
numbers.
the content, right.
Okay.
Other than,
Unless in an executive session you want to do.
Okay.
so this is very, obviously very complicated, and that's why we're bringing in a professional appraisal. Okay. With that,
And when does this person figure they would have this done, or fairly quickly, or?
No, it could take 4 to 6 months,
Okay, so we don't need it when they come back in March?
no.
Okay, that's what my question was about. All
okay,
right.
but what I would like, once we conclude the discussion on this, I'll make a motion to move 1A, B, C, and D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So any other further issues on the appraisal? Okay. All right, I'm going to make a motion to authorize the supervisor to execute A, B, C, and D.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay, and we're number 2 under our town board agenda tonight is our revisiting of the formation of Somer District Number 2. So before the holidays, we concluded that we were going to slow the process down, start crunching numbers. I have to say that between the town attorney, myself, Woodward and Curran, the county planning, DEF, our county legislators, the controller's office, we've been very busy over the last number of months trying to get the best possible financial package put together. So we're very close to delivering that publicly. Next month, March 5th, at our work session, we're going to have Woodward and Curran present the revised map, plan, and report. At that time, we'll set public hearings for April 2nd and possibly continuing that till April 9th. We would adopt the order for the petition to the county at that time as well. Is that correct?
Yes.
So, will you have, Roland, by that time, the petition? Or following that adoption, you'll,
What I discussed today with our county legislator is providing a draft petition in advance of your public hearings and your, well, not in advance of the public hearings, but in advance of the adoption of the resolutions, so
Okay.
that if there were any additions or deletions that they wanted us to make to the final version, we would be able to do that in concert with you finally approving the district. So we don't
okay, so that
lose
would,
any time.
just on the timeline then, between March 5th and April 2nd, when we open our public hearing, is that the draft period? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Will we have a copy of that map plan report? Do they figure to give it to us before that meeting, or they'll present it to us
Yeah, I'd like
at
it
that
before the meeting.
Do we know?
That I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that either, but I will
If
ask.
they're gonna
them.
present it, I'm assuming it's not gonna just get printed the day
No,
of the
no,
meeting.
no,
No, I think
normally
they're
what they
gonna
do,
have it at
yeah, they
some
send
point
it to us.
in time.
Yeah, I'd like to look at it just to have some,
Sure.
especially after the last time, I'd like to have a chance to review
Right.
it before.
Okay, so,
And Rick, I will say, your letter that you put together was excellent. It really was. It was a good letter, it was informative, it covered all the bases. I mean, we know that people are gonna come out and they're gonna have questions, and they're gonna maybe, oh, that's not true, or that, but I read it,
Mhm.
and it really was a well-put-together letter.
Is that on the website now?
Should be up on the website, yes.
And it's
Along-
attached to this agenda as well. So if you go
Yeah.
to the here and you look at the agenda and go through the details, the letter's there as well.
Okay, so,
Good
yeah,
job.
and here's, some of the things we're gonna be doing also. So on March 11th, thereabouts, it hasn't been finalized yet, but we promised we would have another public forum. We'd have this over in Shinnorock. So we will have the town engineers and some of the town board there with our poster boards, which explains public health reasons for doing this, the environmental impacts, why and how these systems get installed. The engineers will be there to answer all these questions about easements and what if you have to tear up my lawn, who's going to repair it, and all that is going to be covered by the sewer district. So we will be sending out information about the public forum on the 11th, and there will be another mailing with this revised map plan and report. We promised that we would send out the map plan and report to every property owner, so we're going to do another mailing with that information in it.
But like you say in your letter too, Rick, it ultimately, it's gonna come down to the vote, which is what we're trying to move forward to, because, people can come back and say whatever they want, but until there's a vote, it's sort of all moot until we know if it's gonna move forward at all.
Did you mention a tentative vote date in that scheduled conversation, or?
I think it's too soon to do that.
Okay.
But hopefully not too, not too far in the distant future. Let's put it that way. But,
And we need to make sure it's a date when people aren't on vacation, just because, we'll get a lot of feedback.
sometime
And we want that
sometime
map
after
plan report
April.
so we can review it in order to make sure we have it exactly like we want
Right.
before it goes out for the vote.
Right.
right, exactly. So, yeah, we'll have plenty of time to
Oh,
vet
that's
it.
right. Gotta do it insert. Actually,
I
that's
think
right.
it's-
The town clerk just reminded me that the date is dictated by when it's adopted, because you have to do it with, what is it, 60 days or 45 days?
60 and 75.
Yeah, 60, 75
It's all
days, so.
dictated by,
Right, so, thank you, Patty.
From the adoption date.
Right.
Okay.
And people know I wouldn't know that.
Which it will be.
And probably the schools are closed sometime in April, I would think, either before Easter or after Easter.
Yeah.
So you might want to work around.
Yeah, no, I would, if I had to guess, it'll be before school lets out. Before,
No, I'm talking about the
Public hearing, because there's a week where people will be away.
What, the two April dates?
Well, yeah, that's why we can continue the April 2nd date to the following April 9th date.
That might be the vacation.
I'm looking it up now.
Okay.
The ninth might be during the school
Well, once again,
vacation.
these are all tentative, but
Right.
I wanted to give
Yeah,
you
we can
that.
figure it out.
Spring recess is, it'll be, the 9th is spring recess.
Right.
We have a meeting on the 2nd of April and the 9th of April, and spring recess is the week of the 5th,
6th through 10th.
or week of the 6th,
Right.
all the
So-
way through the following Monday.
6th through 10th, you said?
And the 13th,
You don't have it on the
Easter
calendar.
Monday.
no, April 9th.
They're off on Easter?
When's Easter?
That's
I think it's the
Is it-
first, second week of,
Is it?
yeah, it's
I
like the
was
7th. It's like 7?
I don't know when it is.
So 6 through 13 inclusive.
Okay, so what's our pleasure? We could
parents and everything.
have a special meeting and a public hearing before the 9th. Before, oh wait, is the 6th a Monday?
12th, I have the
6th is a
12th.
Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it would have to be, okay. So it would have to be.
Oh, yeah, actually, the 9th might be Passover
gonna be
and
Holy
Holy
Thursday.
Thursday. I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know
once again,
Passover.
Passover begins on the 8th.
These were
On the
arbitrary.
8th?
So,
It is
but-
Holy Thursday.
It is Holy Thursday.
but no problem with the 4th, the 2nd of April.
No,
No?
Okay, so then we can reconvene all this, let's see. That would be, what's the next date in April that's agreeable?
You can have a special meeting on the 16th
Yeah, we
or
may need a
something.
On the
special.
16th?
Or
We may
move
need
the
a
regular
special.
Or move the regular meeting to the 16th. I mean, I don't know who's in the building that week, that day, but
Okay.
Yeah, that might make sense.
Okay, maybe we'll just move the town board meeting to that date.
That's what I would do, because,
Yeah, well, look, we want to accommodate everybody. We don't
That's
want any
right.
families with children going on vacation that don't get a chance to come to a public
Also
hearing.
Holy Thursday.
that's right.
It's
Holy
also Holy
Thursday.
Thursday.
I'll be at church.
That's it.
Which, but not the
Filing
16th.
your tax.
No, no,
No.
nine.
Oh,
But
tax
not-
return.
Late,
You
late,
don't
right.
want to say
The-
you
the
didn't
night
have a
before
religious
Good
day
Friday.
obligation.
No,
For
no,
some
we do
people.
not.
So let's look to the 16th. Make it easier for everybody.
Okay, so, and Roland, correct me if I'm wrong here. So after we close the public hearing, we'll take, let's see. The town board will take a vote on the sewer
Several
district,
votes.
right, on the different things on it, and then that'll be sent up to the state controller's office.
Yep.
And then following that, we'll
And
schedule.
also, the final petition then can be submitted to the county, because exhibits to that petition are your final resolutions,
Okay.
which will then be adopted. So although they will have had a draft, now we can give them the final
This will be the
version,
final.
And we can give it to Cortland and Peekskill and Yorktown as well,
Okay.
which we were told to do.
We told to give to Yorktown also? I understand. Pete's.
Yeah, you're supposed to notice your neighbors.
Oh, you are, okay.
So it would be North Salem as well, right, Bedford?
They didn't mention North Salem, I think it was the.
Is it where the-
I think it was.
Oh, the
only
sewer
where-
district
sewer
lines? I
goes
got
that
it.
way.
Sewer line goes through? Is that what you're saying?
Not
Okay.
to the east or south.
How about Peekskill?
Peekskill,
Well, goes-
Peekskill, Cortland, and
What
Yorktown.
goes right there?
Okay.
Right up 202.
Okay, any questions on the update?
Very good.
Yeah, it's-
Moving, slowly but surely.
we are.
Can smell the shamrocks over there, can you?
Yeah.
40 shades of green.
All right.
Hey,
So
I'm
on-
not pushing anything, Rich. I'm fine.
So under financial, okay, we will not leave here before 7:30, I'll guarantee you that. Under financial, authorize the 2019 budget transfers and modifications per memo dated February 7th,
There were a bunch of
2020, from Robert Keough, Finance Director.
That was a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
That's actually not that many.
Highway, library, and general fund.
This
For
is just.
February, that's not a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember voting on this thing.
And that, oh, these are there to make sure everything evens out from carryovers. Got it.
right. So he's been very busy with this as well. Okay,
This is normal practice.
right.
Yep.
All right, so I'd like to make a motion to authorize the budget transfers.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved.
Okay, we're on the home stretch.
Okay.
Okay, current vacancies, we have on our Affordable Housing Board, Library Board of Trustees, Partners in Prevention, upcoming vacancies in Architectural Review and the Parks and Rec Boards. And then we have our consensus agenda.
Nothing was added to it, right?
No, any,
No? So everything we discussed
okay,
last
so
week?
should we announce, Patty, the setting of the public hearings?
Sure.
Okay, so we're going to schedule a public hearing for the placing of no parking signs in the Avalon for March 12th.
You don't remember what.
The town has taken on dedicated roads that go around that pocket park that's up there. And we're having a problem with plowing when it snows because people leave their cars there. So we're gonna put up no parking signs and then either tow or fine people that don't move their cars
During
So-
snowstorms, yeah.
during snowstorms. Well,
Did we take that property as a park?
No,
No,
No.
that's what we
It's
had talked
Clayton.
about, right?
It's Clayton.
But we have the
Boulevard.
roads.
It's the boulevard that goes around there.
They, yeah,
it's not Clayton, it's,
yeah. I
they're
know
off
what you're
of
saying.
Clayton.
Yeah,
You're off of Clayton,
Yeah,
okay.
So,
I didn't think that was park.
okay, and then we're gonna schedule a public hearing for amendments to the office business 100 district related to the proposed new private school at the March 12th. And as a preamble to that public hearing, Tim DeCipio will be here to give us an update on the educational piece. You know, he's been out there working with the New York State Education Department to get his curriculum approved. And, you know, he'll give us his presentation and update on that. Then following the education piece, we'll hear from the developers of the physical plant.
Would
The
you
public
ask
hearing will
him?
be at the beginning of the meeting.
Yeah,
So
no,
are they gonna speak during the public hearing, or do they speak during the meeting?
No, they're gonna speak at the work session.
Oh, it's a
They're
work
coming the
session.
week
Oh, the
before.
week before, okay,
Oh, he's coming the 5th. Oh, okay.
okay.
what? Who's coming on the 5th?
I thought you said
Scipio.
at the work session.
Yeah, no, not, I would like to have him,
I'm sorry. I thought.
no, no, because we may have to, blah, 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 blah. All right, yeah, maybe we can switch the agenda around to put Tim on first, or we could do it after the public hearings, doesn't matter.
Can you put somebody on before the, doesn't the
I would
public?
think
You want
before the
before
public hearing
makes
makes
sense.
the most sense.
Okay, that's fine. Legally, if you can
Generate
do
some
it,
questions for
Yeah,
the public.
definitely.
yeah, if you can legally do it, I just didn't know if you could legally
Well,
do
we can
it.
open the hearing and have him speak prior to.
Yeah, it can
No, so we
also-
could speak
it
during
can
the
be
public
part of
hearing.
the public hearing.
Good,
That's an even better idea.
good.
Oh, just incorporate him in, okay.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to close it that night. We're
No,
gonna-
we're not gonna close.
So any comments that are made that engender questions, people would have an opportunity.
Yeah.
Would you ask him to provide those materials to us first? So if it's a PowerPoint or any other documents,
Okay, I will do that.
that way we can, makes it easier to plan.
Okay.
Any questions we might have?
So March 12th is gonna be busy.
Much.
Yeah.
You're busy, yeah. Don't, make sure you eat something before the meeting. You know how cranky you get.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's me. Forgot.
Okay, is there any other questions on the consensus agenda? I have to say the building department and the engineering department are thrilled about the authorization for proposed purchase of a Canon plotter.
That is a big one. I'm looking at the picture of it.
You
It's
know,
not
we-
a small device.
No, we can finally make copies of things that we've had to send out here for years. Yeah, and that'll be up in the engineering area
the
for
little
everybody
alcove.
to use.
And you can
yeah.
digitize them with that?
I'm sure.
Floor strong
The
enough to
town
hold
clerk
it?
is very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, so we can start the
Scan
digitization
and-
process,
Digitize it, yeah.
at
Is
least
that gonna-
going forward.
No, that's great.
Up to 500 feet
How much
of
is
30-inch. How much is that, Tom? You're in that business. 500 feet, a roll 500 feet.
I don't make that paper, so I don't care.
Oh,
Why
he
we
doesn't-
buying it?
He doesn't care, yeah, exactly. He doesn't care.
Maybe I can get us some cheap rolls.
There you go. That'd be heavy though, right? 500, a roll, 500 feet of 36 inches wide?
Yeah, I mean, your standard rolls are about anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 pounds. One ton. One
ton of paper.
1 ton.
It's not a bag of salt.
No, you need more than a 17.
Okay,
Well, actually, no, but the one that goes up here has got to be smaller. It can't be that big. You normally need a forklift to move the ones I sell. So,
You don't want to take the building down.
yeah, no.
Okay, so the other consensus agenda item I want to call your attention to is, and we mentioned this last week, the tax collection upgrade
Right, that's good.
proposal.
Yeah.
So that is going to include online payment of your property taxes.
Unicity?
And that'll be that'll
What if
work
they-
now, this tax year. Patty, you know that?
I'm sorry,
Will it be work, Michelle can use it immediately this tax season?
April.
April, yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, and and then on E is that grant that we got from Assemblyman Burns' office to do paving, the Master Municipal Multimodal Capital Projects, paving of Plumbrook Road from 138, approximately 875 feet. Okay, so I'll make a motion to adopt the consensus agenda 1 through 7.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Okay, and I see we were joined by a member of the public. Do you have any questions on our agenda? You missed public comment, so. But I will entertain it since
My name's-
I can fit you in.
Hi, guys, how are you? Bob Madigan, and I live on Carolyn Way.
Speak into the
And
mic.
Bob Madigan on Carolyn Way, and I thought the meeting started at 7:30. No, I know
Did
that.
once.
I know the board's been very busy with the school, the STEM Academy across the street, and I know it continues to move along with various boards, and now it's the planning board. And first of all, I had a couple questions that I don't know if you're able to answer, or you maybe could direct me into
You
the
can always
ri-
ask.
into the
If
right
we'll answer, we'll answer.
into the
And I
right
think you might have
place.
just heard that we're gonna have the head of it and the public hearing
Is
coming
it
up.
next month or?
Yeah,
March
next month.
12th.
Yeah.
March 12th.
I've listened to the applicant's proposals a number of times. I've been here, and I know it's evolving, which is great. But I did have one item I wanted to ask the board about to begin with, not having to do with school, having to do with the removal of Dean's Bridge. I see that it was in front of the planning board yesterday. And I walk, that's an area that I walk, and I've noticed that there's a lot of garbage and things like washing machines being dumped on that road because the bridge is empty. I guess people just like back down and dumps things. I saw somebody do it just a couple weeks ago. It's
Get us a plate number.
a plate number? Yeah, well, that's hard to.
So,
you have to-
so recently, if that was a question, what's, maybe I'm rushing the question, but what is the town doing about that? Recently, we met with DEP and our engineering technician, he was down there looking at, the bridge and saw a Jeep up off
Yeah.
the road into the woods. That Jeep is no longer there. We notified DEP, and they pulled it out.
I've seen them come through Dean's Bridge along the power lines all the way to 116, where the train station is. I've seen vehicles come through there. It's amazing. And they're not electric company, gas company vehicles. They're just out for a joyride. It's hard to chase them. But the question I
These
had
would be
is
cars or Jeeps or
Jeep
like all-terrain
off-road-
vehicles?
Well, the small ATV
Oh,
the
vehicles,
ATVs, okay.
but I've also seen Jeep type vehicles, large, two-passenger, like.
Really?
Yeah, well, this was
And for the record, when we say get the plate, do not chase them. Yeah,
Believe
you just said
me,
it's hard
I
to
will not chase them.
Do not chase them.
They're not
If you happen to see when they
deputized.
drive by.
I'll just use my superpowers and fly
There
over
you
them.
So, but you said it's hard to chase them. Do not chase them.
But the question I had is
Yes,
that,
sir.
of course, it's a dead-end road, and it's going to continue to be a dead-end road. I know that it's a town road, except it goes into pretty much New York State watershed area. I don't know what you can do about cleaning up their property. I know there's going to be the bridge removed. They're going to remove the abutments. I did read that they were thinking of taking some of the capstones and saving them as far as historical standpoint. Right now, there are two very large stones, probably the size of these tables, that are off to the side of the road that probably were part of the bridge at one point For whatever reason, they were taken off and moved. And they prevent people from walking on what looks like a trail into the watershed area. I noticed that some big logs have been placed to the northern side of Dean's Bridge to prevent those types of vehicles from going down in there. I know the Historical Society has expressed interest in those capstones, but the question to you guys, and I don't know where this goes, is can some of the material from the bridge, the capstones, the blocks, actually be used right there as a barrier at some point, maybe at the boat launch? There's a boat launch, MU-17, I think. Can those stones be placed there in a way that, you know, people who want to walk, they can walk through them and around them, and it would maintain a historical connection to the bridge that was there by leaving those items right there at the site? Who would that go to? Who would I bring
Okay,
that
so
to?
I guess you missed the planning board meeting last night. Where
Absolutely, that's why I'm here
that was
tonight.
probably the venue to bring these
Right.
concerns, but certainly we can tell them about this. They have met and are meeting with the DEP
Right.
on the demolition and the reworking of that site. I was out there with the DEP about 3 weeks ago, and their intention is the bridge right now is what's deemed as an attractive nuisance.
Right.
Okay, it's not functioning, but it's there. So barriers are put up. I would venture to say those stones that are off to the side were probably placed there by the DEP to prevent whatever vehicles from coming through. But I understand what the plan is going to be. There's 2 capstones on our side, 2 on North Salem side. They are going to take 2 of the capstones and haul them away to a warehouse upstate. One of the capstones is going on North Salem side, the other one's going to be on our side, possibly with a plaque or something on it. They're going to grade the end of the road down, so it's like an
Yeah,
embankment.
I read their, I've read the, well, whatever document it is, pretty lengthy by the
so
engineers, yeah.
So they're going to do some improvements to that. It is a town road. We will maintain that town road up to the barrier because they don't want people flying down the road and there is no bridge. So they'll be precluded from getting to the reservoir.
Thelma and
But
Louise.
once again, as with any town property, if there's, garbage, debris, things like that, we will bring it to their attention. And if it's a town road where this junk is, you inform us, our
Okay.
highway department goes out and takes care of it. We also have a very active litter task force that,
Yeah, I understand, I get it.
okay, so you get,
I just have a few items on my list, I won't take too long.
fortunately, we have time tonight. so-
Absolutely, this is great. I wanted to, if we could move from the bridge to the actual functioning of what that bridge did and Plum Brook, which were arteries into the town at one point. Both have been closed for some time. And this goes to the new school and the traffic studies that were done. I'm trying to determine whether those traffic studies were based on the studies done prior, when IBM came into and developed the property. And if they took into account that those bridges are no longer functioning.
Yeah, Roland, I would
I'm
have
sure
to.
they did.
Yeah,
Yeah, they would use.
They're not gonna
they-
double
they-
charge for
They
this.
produce new data.
So they have new data?
Yes.
Right, and is that data available in their report? I couldn't really
The-
determine whether,
You would be able to get it from the planning board, I'm sure. Both their consultant's
Right.
report and the review of that report by the town's professional, F.B. Clark Associates.
It would have to be public.
my impression was that there's little impact. And I just found that to be odd, since there are now two major arteries into the area, that it would have such little impact.
When you say little impact, you mean the school
Compared-
itself?
Well, the school, all of a sudden you have traffic and you've closed, or there are now
Yeah.
two arteries nearby that are closed, which were open when the original
So
I
not-
work
think
was
I
done back
remember
in the 80s.
If I looked at it correctly, if I looked at some of the traffic studies, I mean, they're not going back to the original traffic study for the IBM property, but I think what they're saying is that compared to the IBM property 2 years ago and the traffic that would have been there versus,
Okay.
I think that's what
Yeah,
they're
I
looking
think
at.
the original IBM property.
3,000 spaces down to 600.
2,600.
Okay.
But no,
That's what they
but,
say. Yeah.
The traffic study's not gonna say there's a little impact. What they'll opine on whether the existing infrastructure can handle it.
Actually, I'm not
Right.
sure about that. I think it said there
Well-
was minimal impact, or actually, I thought they said that it would be less when compared
I'm
to the
sure
IBM
not.
property.
That's what they've
Definitely,
said.
It's a boarding school.
Yeah, most people are living
So
there.
it brings me to then another question from there. The original property had 3 major entrances, one on Route 116,
Right.
one on Route 100, and one on Route 138. The materials I've read is that there'll be a main entrance going to the campus, which I believe is on 138. What is to happen to the other 2 entrances onto the property? And will they be used by the school? Will they be used by, I don't know, well, we don't know what's going to happen in the future, but is it, and it's from what I understand, a closed campus. In other words, you'd go through security.
Yes.
So traffic will be going through one entrance. Was that addressed in the traffic study?
I don't remember.
That I don't know.
Yeah,
So we don't really know whether,
I don't recall.
and that comes having to do with, we have a lot of traffic downtown now. I don't know if you've tried to cross the street here to get to the drugstore at any time. I walk through the town, and I do it a lot. So what kind of traffic that's now condensed from, it's more condensed and it's going to be focused at one entrance. Does that affect what's going on?
Well, if they're proposing 138 to be the main entrance, then certainly that would draw traffic off of 100. Hopefully, wouldn't be that impactful.
So,
But I believe all 3 entrances are still going to be functional. They have to be for,
they have to be functional.
I'm assuming
Well,
for an emergency purpose,
right.
Fire.
they'll have the others as well. I mean, I'm sure
Right.
they'll be gated and
I don't
you know what, this
recall
is
the
all stuff that, again,
in process.
it'll be in the report that we don't have it in front of us. These are perfect questions to ask next meeting
Next-
when
Yeah,
they're
but is
here.
it to this board or is it to the
Well,
planning
we're gonna have a
board?
public hearing,
This board.
this board,
To this board?
yes.
So you're not going to,
With the applicant here.
Yeah, the applicant's gonna
I
be here.
understand. I've
you're
heard
not going
the
to have this kind
applicant's
of leeway
presentation
at that meeting.
3 times now, and it starts off focusing on the iconic IMP buildings, and I can pretty much say 99% of the people that live in this community have never seen those buildings.
Correct.
I spoke to somebody whose property abuts the IBM property, has never seen the buildings, never knew what they were. In fact, they didn't even know that a school was being proposed, and this is going on. That would lead to another question of the communications between the board and town residents. I stop in and look at the board, or I go online. Has there been any outreach or effort by the board, whether through this board, the planning board, or through the school system, to have an outreach to everyone in the community to let them know what is happening with that property?
It's been in the paper a lot.
It's extensive.
But you have to
Extensive.
buy that paper now.
No,
You
it comes
sign up
free.
for that paper.
No, it goes free.
You know,
Gets delivered to your mailbox.
it's not free, though. It won't be delivered to you unless you've filled out a
Well,
form every
We're
year.
getting a little off topic. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
okay,
town's
right,
obligation,
absolutely.
we have a website which posts the business of the town. So under a category is the new school, and there you can I'm sure
So
you know about
I
it.
understand. So my question to you is, the board doing any other type of outreach?
When we rezone, right, do we have to notify contiguous
Don't we have to notify
attaching
neighbors or something?
There's, I believe, a notification requirement for neighbors.
Yeah.
and of
Yeah, but,
course-
yeah, we're
But
not
it's within
there
a
yet.
certain area. It doesn't
Right.
go across the whole town. Like, I wouldn't get
But
it.
it
I
would
live all
go
the way
to
on
the
other side.
Yes, it would
contiguous
I can't remember what
properties
it would go,
around.
there's
500
a-
feet, is it?
I don't
There's
know
a,
if it's 250 or 500.
yeah, there's a certain amount of
So it may
footage
not reach
within it.
you where you are in.
Right.
In Dean's.
But it
Point.
would reach somebody who lives on Eastern Way,
Yes.
say,
One
or
bigger, sure.
Crossway, or one of the wayways.
Wayways.
Sideway, entranceway.
Short way.
Short way is another one. They're very
One way.
fun ways.
No way.
Part of, I endorse the school. I'm not, a great proponent of it, but I endorse it as a great reuse of the buildings and an addition to our community. But I keep coming back to how is that school integrated into our community? And I haven't heard a real good case for it yet, other than it's good for business. And it got me to thinking
I
how.
don't know if I've heard it's good for business.
Good for business.
They have made that argument. I think it's somewhat
Exactly.
spacious.
I think it's incumbent for us to figure out how we can integrate that school into our community.
So,
And,
I mean,
Let him finish what he's saying.
okay.
well, I have a couple different ideas, and one would be, and this is coming from the introduction of a path that is going to possibly maybe come down from the property between the pharmacy and Citibank. And it will bring students down the hill into our town, and they will cross over the street and use the services of the town. And there's a sidewalk there that they can take. This is all off the top of my head. I have a proposal. How about if the town either proposes or makes available or asks the developer to create a monumental staircase on that property that's accessible, that people can walk up and down, and that's the entranceway from the school into the town. Monumental staircases are in most colleges, there's gateways, there's Spanish steps in Rome.
Are you saying these are steps that like the public can go up into?
That's correct.
You have to keep in
Absolute-
mind, you're comparing it to a college where there's adults. These are young children.
And it's a
From
closed
a security
campus.
standpoint, the school is going to say no, and I wouldn't blame them. A college is a little bit different. You have adults, 18, 19, 20. Here, I don't know if you want just the general public walking up onto their campus.
That would bring another question. There are many types of schools like this that have open campuses. Kent School in Kent, Connecticut is an open campus, all right? And students walk into town all the time.
It's open campus, meaning for the students, not from anyone else to go onto the
All
school.
you have to do is say, hi, I'm so-and-so, I'm going to walk
You
through.
could, most schools you can do that, but that's not an open campus because they can stop that. Open campus refers to the students can walk out, generally in the junior, senior year. I'm just saying it's not open
Fair
campus
enough.
like everybody can come.
I think the point is try to integrate that community with this community. And I haven't seen where that's going to happen yet. I know you've spoken of sidewalks, and I haven't seen too much of.
They haven't moved on that.
No.
I
But
keep
I
trying.
do have an idea on that too.
So, I mean, we could go on.
Sure.
You, looks
Tell
like
you
you
what.
have a nice big.
But if you
have-
have all those
what I'm-
ideas,
I have 5 or 6 more
That's where I'm
ideas.
going.
Let me
That's
fin-
where I'm
let me
going. What I
finish
would,
one
what I would
more.
recommend you do?
Write them out for you, right?
that'd
Well,
be
not,
great.
Yes.
not for us.
Well, I'd
We
like to
will
see 'em.
submit them, and you, obviously, you have an interest, you'll be here. You can ask some of the questions, but I don't think you're gonna be afforded that amount of time at this public hearing.
Normally, we have 3 minutes.
Okay.
That's normally the guideline that we have. And I'm sure we have people at home right now watching the meeting going, what the hell?
Yeah, it's me. They may not be
I
watching.
always get, gonged after 3 minutes.
Okay,
Right.
so
So if I could,
Can
if
I
I could
just
give you that
the
recommendation,
4 or 5 topics that I would like to discuss.
you've already given us about 10. So what I'm suggesting you do.
I'm sorry, I would like to just say what they are. I won't
You want to
explain
start a
them.
3-minute,
You want to start 3 minutes from now?
Just give us the
Quick
headings.
list.
We don't
Sure.
want any fleshing of it out.
The possibility of hotels and restaurants on the subdivided property.
Okay?
All right, that's a
Okay,
big
keep going.
concern.
It's
Um,
R80.
The water capacity of the sewage treatment plant, a year and a half ago, the engineer was talking about it was at capacity. Now it's kind of just, it's fine.
Okay,
Okay.
next.
Sidewalks, of course,
Yeah.
Uh,
Mr.
maybe-
Quincy's all over that.
a right-of-way across the campus to Sideway, Eastern Way, Short Way. You can, find a
That
path.
falls under open campus. That's what you're suggesting.
Next.
Well, it could skirt the campus. It could go across the balance of the
Okay.
property. And just the board's commitment to open space in the town.
I think,
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
thanks for your comment.
Thank you.
I'm glad we were able to accommodate you tonight because
Yeah, this would be it.
that may not be.
Normally we can't.
Nobody did. But let me
them
just,
up.
let me just say this, though. Whenever any business has come before this town with a proposal, from down Route 100 to up on Route 6, all those, the question always is, we want the business to succeed, and we want the town to be better. And somewhere in there is the meeting of the minds that benefits the applicant and benefits the town. Why would we ever have approve a change that doesn't make the town better? And that's what we've pushed for. Now, there's all the monies are involved and taxes are involved and all that. But that certainly has been a push, and if you've watched, you know that we've tried to push and will continue to push in hearings like this and in private for those things. And my question always is, how are you going to make this town better up there on the hill? And I think your questions are
So we'll be looking at it,
logical.
and the planning board will be looking at it,
Yep.
and open space committee will be looking at it, everybody will be looking at it.
But this is how we refine things. We get input
Yeah. Yeah.
from everybody, and our job is to make sure they answer those questions. So, once again, if you submit something ahead of time of that meeting, we can be sure
That they'll have answers.
that they'll go down that list of yours.
Such as the wastewater.
Yeah,
Well, that's
There's a whole report on that. We just got an
Yeah.
amended update.
but I'm sure Mark can get
That's a
up there
factual
and right
thing.
away tell you that based on what they're doing, that the wastewater is fine. I mean, he'll be able to, based on your question, he'll be able to give you an answer.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I have a few announcements here. And since there are a few, I'll handle these myself. So you can all rest a little easy.
Patty's got the night off.
Okay, the Somers Energy Environment Committee is seeking new members. The committee acts as a conduit for the purpose of promoting and communicating environmental and sound, cost-effective initiatives in order to reduce energy consumption while making effective use of relevant town resources. We had the chairman into this board at our work session earlier in the month. Gave us a briefing on solar farms. And this is a trend that is being, and an opportunity, actually. So we are scheduling Nina Orville from Sustainable Westchester to come and address the board on their recommendations on where we should go with that. But this Energy Environment Committee is very interesting, and they need more people. They need people who have an interest in the town, and I ask that you contact Denise Schrimmer, who's their secretary. She can be reached at 277-5582. And if you have any interest in joining, please consider that.
They changed their meeting time, by the way, to Thursday nights at 6 o'clock here. They were on, I think, Mondays at 7
Yeah? Okay.
at Van Tassel. So I think they have changed that meeting time, just so people know. And it's a public meeting, of course. You don't be part of the committee to go to, all meetings are public.
Well, hopefully they're not on the first two Thursdays of,
Well,
Of
and
the
then actually
month.
next month, hopefully they're not on the 3rd.
you're right, because we're moving.
I think I got it right. Maybe not.
Okay, good. And this is a very timely topic here. The Westchester County Department of Health urges residents to protect against the flu. They put out some information. The best way to avoid influenza was to get a yearly flu vaccine and wash your hands frequently. The flu vaccines are still being issued and still effective.
Got it a week ago.
Even if you do get the flu, it minimizes the impact. With flu activity now widespread throughout New York State and the general public from the 2019 novel coronavirus remains low. We're fortunate in this country. Other countries aren't faring so well. Residents can get a flu shot at medical offices and many pharmacies. The county health department also offers free flu shots by appointment. County clinics are open to all, especially those without insurance or whose insurance does not cover vaccines. You can call 995-5800 to register for a free flu vaccine at the county clinics. And this information will be posted on our website, but do take care of your health and yourselves and your family. So we don't want any kind of a flu outbreak that is happening elsewhere in the world.
And you may want to check, I don't know if this is in all cases, I know when I went with the kids, we went to a pharmacy first, and they needed your pharmacy card, your prescription card for insurance purposes. My company, they didn't happen to have a deal with that particular pharmacy, but then you go to urgent care, and they just take your medical. So it was not an issue if you can use your medical at any urgent care. So it was much easier getting, I mean, I hate to say this to the pharmacies, but for us, it was much easier just to go give a medical
Right.
card.
Or
versus-
you could have called 995-5800, called the health department, and went down and got a free one.
Yeah, but you didn't give us this message 2 weeks ago. So
Well, listen
that's
up.
your fault.
Listen up. For future. Okay, then the
Next year, you got the number.
last item on the agenda here, announcements, is join the 2020 census team. I'm going to be like a broken record until we get this census behind us.
Gonna be.
Apply online, I'll just ignore that. Apply online, 2020census.gov/jobs. The 2020 census jobs provide great pay, flexible hours, weekly pay, paid training. For more information, call 1-855-JOB-2020.
Okay.
So with that, our next scheduled meeting will be our work session on February 5th,
March 5th.
7 p.m.
March 5th.
March.
March 5th? Jeez.
Yep.
March 5th?
Yep.
Yes, March 5th, 7 p.m. And just a reminder, and our public hearings on signage, parking signage, and on the zoning amendment
And the master plan.
and the master plan amendment on
And-
March 12th.
Rick, if I could just say two
Sure.
things. One is, we want to wish good luck to the Somers basketball team. The playoffs are coming up, so we wish them luck. They have a long road ahead of them. But we want to also wish good luck, as I ever like to be a jinx, to our own Mr. Clinchy, who the number 2 seeded Valhalla team, as he
Yeah,
heads
yeah.
forward. So we wish you success in the playoffs, Rich.
Thank you, and if.
As a
we-
coach, Rich, I mean, not as a player.
Well,
wanna
those
clarify
days have
that.
passed, but should
Until
we
you
not be
play Somers.
successful, I'll know who I can,
That's
Blame.
me. I went to one game. What's your record, Rich?
16-4.
And I went to one game and you lost it.
Yes,
So,
which I have not forgiven you for.
So apparently,
You've been banned, you will never be a Viking.
right,
Well,
so,
when you're at county
You
center,
go
you
to
can't stop
Ireland,
me.
stay in Ireland.
so apparently you're the kiss of death for
I
the
am.
Vikings.
So,
Stay away.
but I cheer for him.
Thank you,
Hey,
appreciate
us too.
that very much. Thank
Best of
you.
luck.
Thank you.
Having been a coach, I know you put a heart and soul into it.
No, that's true.
Okay, any other comments, concerns?
Dad, just one. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day to all of Somers, particularly my Valentine, Meredith.
Oh,
And
Now
hope
you're making us
everybody
all
has a
look
wonderful
bad.
day.
Happy Valentine's
I
Day,
thought you were
dear.
wishing it to me. I was getting, I was blushing.
Nobody has a better Valentine than I do.
Carol.
There you go.
Oh, my God.
Nice follow-up, Tom. That was good. That was good.
So Rich was the only, Rich and Tom were the only 2 councilmen that didn't wish their wives.
That's because our wives know we don't need to remind them.
Ooh, there you go. Well, welcome home tonight.
well, it's all right.
Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. And good night, Somers.
Good night.
Night, Somers.